Hello, 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 and welcome everyone to the Small Biz Better Summit, the Your 2020 Vision Still Lives edition. We are so happy to have you. This has been an amazing event, amazing adventure. A lot more people registered than we thought and anticipated, which is great, great problem to have. And we're so happy to be in a position to serve you and just continue to give you great, immense value for free. Or if you upgrade it to the VIP package, immense value for your VIP investment as well. So welcome all over the world. If you would, go ahead and type in the chat. While you won't see your responses in the chat, we see them on our end. We're moderating the chat for you guys so that there's not so much distraction and things going on during the session today. So if you would, go ahead and just let us know where you're from. We have our speakers are all over the world at this summit, and so are our participants. We've had people all over from London, California, Florida, which is where we're based. And so if you let us know where you're from in the summit, we would love to, where you're from in the world, we would love to give you a shout out at your various places. So we have London joining us. London, thank you so much. One of our speakers is in the UK as well. So happy to have you. India is joining. Is that okay? India joining us. Awesome. Florida, awesome in the house. We're based in Orlando, Florida, and we see several Orlando, Florida people joining us. We have Kissimmee, Florida, which is a suburb of Florida, which is joining us. Delaware. My aunt used to live in Delaware. Thank you for joining us. California. We have a lot of, actually, most of our clients are actually in Southern California. So we're happy to have you guys join us as well. We have more Florida. Florida is in the house. Yay, I'm a little biased. Florida by way of Ohio. They have to get that in there as well. That's awesome sauce. We have a lot of New York. Okay, New York is here as well. We have another. We have you in 2 rooms now. So 2 rooms, second room we have. Okay, London again. Same thing. Florida, New York. Same place, New York. Okay, question. Yeah, type in your questions as well. We're moderating those. You won't see them once you type them. We'll see everything on our end. So yeah, go ahead and type those in. We'll make sure to capture those. And if we have time during the session, we'll try to get to those and answer those for you as well. Okay, yeah. So New York, where else are you joining from? South Carolina, awesome. I'm from South Carolina originally, so love South Carolina. A little biased, just a tad biased, South Carolina. Awesome sauce. All right, yeah, and if you're from any other places that haven't been mentioned, just go ahead and type them in. We'll try to acknowledge as many as we can see in the chat and through all of the chat windows that we have open. Tennessee is in the house. Tennessee, welcome. So we got a lot of states represented. We have Florida, California, New York represented. This is awesome. And so thank you so much for joining us. We have an amazing summit planned. This is our 6th summit, sponsored by Social Marquee, Better Digital Marketing for Business Growth. I'm the founder of Social Marquee. So we're one of the title sponsors of this Small Biz Better Summit. We also have title sponsor Vision Cake, title sponsor aiming to make your vision clear, align with your vision, and manifest your vision. So we love working with them. And we have several other sponsors who are listed on the individual pages who are not necessarily title sponsors, but several sponsors that are on some of the individual pages. So you'll be able to see those when the talk comes up for those sessions. Please show them patronage, show them love, because they actually make this possible. Many of you have asked about sponsorship. Absolutely. When you see those sponsors, you're able to click on that link and it sends us an email automatically that you'd like for us to include you on the sponsorship, which we have 2 full days of the summit left. Actually 3 full days, because today just started. 3 full days of the summit left. And we're also hosting another summit in a couple of months as well. You all will all get that notification. And yeah, be absolutely happy to partner with you on that summit as well. So awesome sauce. Welcome, everybody. Welcome from all over the world. Thank you for attending Small Biz Better Summit. Many people have asked, hey, what is the Small Biz Better Summit? What is it about? And the mission is simple. We want to help small businesses do better. And we make small business not just a noun, but small business, make it a verb. So not just small business, how do you do small business better? Small business takes action. Small business takes a lot of action and effort, right? And that's what this whole summit is talking about. How do we engage in that action, and how do we engage in that effort? So you're going to get the front row seats to that as well. Also, want to address challenges that you're having. So this session, we do have live Q&As coming up as part of this summit. The live Q&As, most of those take place on Friday, the 2 days that's on your schedule. So depending on where you are in the world, it'll show your respective time zone. So for some of you, it will be Saturday. So view the Q&As there. If you have questions in here, go ahead and type them. We may not get to them in this session, but we will definitely get to them in the live Q&A sessions as well. Also, many of you have asked about the special session that we have, which is inspired by a lot of the unfortunate events that have been happening recently. You might be familiar with the George Floyd situation, or the George Floyd incident that has happened in Minnesota. Unfortunately, the young man died in police custody, and many small businesses are wondering, hey, how do we be a part? How do we take action? And we have a forum, a panel session just on that that takes place during this summit as well. Also a live forum where there's several speakers who will be speaking and answering your questions live as well. So we hope you'll attend that session as well. So a lot of great things. So what's in store in the Small Business Summit? Today, we're going to talk about marketing here on this session, marketing in uncertain times. And this is a 3-part series. So there's part today, tomorrow, and on day 3 of the summit. So we are super excited to bring you that. I'll be the presenter for that. Marketing is my specialty. I've been doing that for 20 years. Absolutely love it. So that just warms my heart. We have business strategy. We have mindset, something that a lot of people don't think about necessarily, but one of the most important pieces of your business, of your growth, and how to keep your 2020 vision still alive during these very uncertain times that we're having right now. Things still going on with COVID, people talking about second wave. Is it over? Is it safe? Should I be marketing? Should I be advertising? Should I be doing some of those things? We're going to cover those through these 3 sessions, these 3-part sessions that we're going to be having about specifically your marketing and your promotion endeavors. So super excited to bring you that. Oh, I had a thought and it just slipped my mind. Happens a lot live. So it'll probably happen throughout this presentation. So if it does, just laugh with me, because I surely will be laughing at myself. My mom says I'm too young to be forgetting like that. And I say, well, I don't know what's going on. All right. So other thing before we get started, questions. Actually, I already mentioned that. But for you who just joined in, we see another great wave that just came on in, possibly from the other room. So yeah, we had a couple of different rooms. We just had a lot more people registered than we thought, which is awesome, which is great. Type in your questions. We do have our team. They're moderating it in the chat. They'll see your questions and we'll try to get to as many of them as possible. You will have probably questions throughout this session. Go ahead and ask those questions or type those in and we'll get to as many of those as possible as well. Most of the questions will be handled on the question and answer session that we will have on day 3 of the summit. So just depending on where you are in the world, that will be either, it's day 3 of the summit, because we're also get this, to accommodate so many of the registrants that registered for this summit, we're going to be having a live replay of the summit that many of them will be able to register for and watch the replay of everything that they weren't able to register for this time. For everyone who's already registered in this, you do get 24-hour access to the replay now already. So you're already locked in. If you're in this room right now, you are good to go. So we're just finding new and exciting ways to accommodate everyone who is joining us. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and jump into marketing in uncertain times. And this is so important because we've had a very interesting year so far. There's been a lot that is happening. I was part of another forum that was talking about how this year started off, unfortunately, with Kobe Bryant, famous basketball player, an unfortunate helicopter accident. And then shortly after that, even while that was going on, there were talks about COVID in other parts of the country, other parts of the world. And then all of a sudden, things just blew up February, March, things just blew up, and really been kind of in that space ever since. And so a lot of people lives are on hold. A lot of people jobs are on hold. There's just so much uncertainty going on. We get this question every single day at my marketing agency, Social Marquee. And it's, hey, what should we be doing? How can we help people during this time? And that's what this session is dedicated to do. So a little bit about Social Marquee. Social Marquee is my digital marketing agency. I've been a digital marketer now for 22 years. Yes, literally more than half my life, ever since 1998. I started doing digital marketing before it was a thing. And I've had this business now for 12 years. And what we do, our mission is to, we're good people helping good people positively impact massively more and more good people. And that's one reason for the summit as well. How do we positively impact massively more and more good people? The summit is a part of that. So we got with several different partners on funding it. How do we fund it, and how do we make this huge endeavor happen? With that, one of the questions that we get all the time is, how do we market in this time, and how do we reach those people who need our help during this time? How do I keep my business afloat and keep it alive? So I want to give you a few key principles that will help you during that time. And remember, this is a 3-part series. So in order not to inundate you with so much information today, we'll cover a few of those points today, cover a few in day 2, and cover a few in day 3, so we can give you a holistic view of a holistic perspective of everything that's involved to keep your business afloat during these times. First major question we get is it the right time to market? Is it the right time to promote our business? And in order to answer this question, we first have to break down marketing and promotion. First of all, marketing is one of the most misused terms out there, marketing and market. A lot of times when people say marketing, they mean promotion. A lot of times when people say marketing or to market their business, they mean promote my business, or they mean advertising, right? But marketing as a entity is so much bigger than that. Think of promotion as just the tip of the iceberg of a much bigger iceberg. Most of it is underneath the water when it comes to promoting your business. Right. So Facebook posts, ads, logos, all these things, anything that you can see is part of the 5% of the iceberg that is above the water. So I want you to think of it. If it's something you can see, perceive, hear, taste, anything you can perceive with the other 5 human senses, I forget what all of them are right now, but if it's something you can perceive with the 5 human senses, it's part of the 5% of the iceberg that you can see. That 5% of the iceberg that you can see is only held up by the 95% of the iceberg that you can't see, that's beneath the water, right? So anytime you're thinking about promotion or advertising, think about, okay, what's going to sustain this promotion and sustain this advertising? So that's the first thing. Remember that marketing is bigger than just promotion, although the promotion is the most visible aspect of marketing. So when we get this question of, should I be marketing my business right now? The answer is yes, absolutely. The differentiation with that is, how do we market our business? And we want businesses to, this is something we believe even before the epidemic, something that we stress with our clients, with all of our free webinars, with free summits like this. You want to make sure that your marketing efforts is around customer relationship building, not promotion. One thing we say at our agency is the reason your marketing isn't working as well as you want it to is because you're focused on the marketing. And I'll say that again, your marketing isn't working as well as you want it to because you're focused on the marketing. Focus on the marketing is not where your focus should be. The focus should be on your end user, should be on your end consumer, and should be on helping them. You all have products and services that are designed to help your end user, that are designed to empower them. Your end user has a pain. They have something that keeps them up at night around the problems and solution that you solve. What is that? Tap into that and meet that head on. But you won't be able to tap into that if you're thinking about my business. How can I promote? How can I do these things? How can I get them this and say, okay, buy, or buy this thing and buy this widget, buy this gadget. When you say that and when you approach people with this buy mentality, they usually end up saying buy, right? And waving bye to you, because people don't want to be sold, especially on social media, especially online. And there's so many people that have abused, unfortunately, that power on social media and online that it becomes really cumbersome and it becomes really hard for you to stand out in the crowd of so many people just out there trying to promote their thing. How do we get our heart message out there? So absolutely, you should be promoting and marketing your business during this time, but how you do that is important. So doing it from a heart-led space, and how does that look? Asking people, hey, how can we best be of service to you right now? Asking your tribe if you have an email list. First of all, if you don't have an email list, start building one. That's something we'll be covering later in these 3 day session. But start building one if you don't have one. But ask them, put out a survey. What are you experiencing? What are the challenges you are experiencing right now during this pandemic? A lot of times we as business owners will go in our head and say, okay, I sell widgets and this widget solves this problem. So I want to reach people with, X, Y, and we're doing this kind of self-fulfilling prophecy with our own product. The problem is we're doing it from our perspective, but our perspective is biased. Our perspective, we know our product works, or we hope our product works. Please be certain about your product is first thing. Our product should work. We should be in love with our product, and we want others to do it. And a lot of times when we're promoting our products, we can't understand, oh my goodness, why aren't people jumping on this? Because this thing is the best thing since sliced bread. Because we don't have their perspective. We need to jump into their perspective in order to align with the pain points that they're having so that we can solve their pain points. And a great way to do that is to ask them, what are your pain points? Ask your email list, put out a social post. These work great on Facebook, Instagram, for example. Put out a social post that is asking people, what are you experiencing right now? What challenges are you having right now? And leave it an open-ended question. We strongly encourage not to do one of these self-fulfilling questions that, hey, do you have problems with if you sell this widget, and then you ask them about problems that widget specifically solves? That's what we call a leading question. Ask them an open-ended question. What are your problems? And you'll get all kind of answers. Don't get me wrong. And it's your job as a team, your job for your team, and your job as a business owner to sift through all of those answers and figure out how does your product and service solve those problems. And then what you do is you simply deliver what people say they need, right? There are a lot of people, a lot of businesses spending a lot of money right now. So it's not that no one has any money. In fact, we get every holiday, we bring on new clients, and every holiday season, and they'll say, yeah, we're having trouble because no one has any money during the holidays. And we always laugh. The holidays is literally the number one largest retail spending frenzy in the world. The holiday season, Thanksgiving, Black Friday, Christmas, New Year's, the largest in the world. But the mindset is that people don't have money, right? So we get in front of that. We know that that's a pain point of a lot of our people, and we address it head on, and we start talking to them about that. And a lot of them come on because we or hire us because they're like, oh, wait, these guys are solving a problem that I have. Let me go ahead and join forces with them, or let me hire them so they can solve this problem that they've essentially entered the conversation that's happening in my mind about. And that's exactly what you want to do with your customers. So enter the conversation that's already happening in their head around the problem that your products and solutions solve for them. And the best way to do that is to ask them. Ask them on social media, put out a Facebook post. Hey, what problems are you having right now? We recommend you do, if you're doing it on Facebook, you can make them in a nice little background, and you can just put out that question. And you put out a couple of times, right? It's not like just a one and done. There's so many, a lot of times people say, I don't want to repeat content, but remember, when you put out a post on social media, everybody doesn't see that content at that exact time that you put out that content, right? So it's okay to put it out today, 3 days from now, and then 7 days from now. In fact, that's something that you should do, and just keep collecting this information. Don't develop a solution in a cave and then try to present it to the world to buy. Co-develop a solution with your ideal clients, and then they're actually standing in line waiting to buy from you. So I hope that distinction makes sense. So that's the first thing. Yes, you should be marketing or that's the first and second thing. Yes, you should be marketing right now. Yes, you should be promoting right now, but do it from a relationship standpoint. Build the relationships and be help to people. And in order to be that help to people, ask them what the challenges is that they're facing. Now, an important part of this, which is part number 2 or point number 2, is if I'm asking these people what their challenges are and I'm looking to meet those challenges, how do I know who the people are that I'm trying to reach? And that's such a great question. The second point here is that you want to make sure that you have defined who is your ideal customer. There's several big mistakes that we see a lot of companies making, and we'll cover those on day 2 and 3 of the summit. But one of the biggest things is they don't know exactly who they're trying to reach. A lot of companies have they have this kind of old school mentality of we're looking to reach males age 25 to 45 who make $60,000 a year, right? And that's what we call demographics. And that was great back when we didn't have the knowledge, the understanding of human behavior that we do today. So we want to shift from this old school kind of method of thinking and this old school kind of method of marketing to this newer school method of marketing, which is getting into their mindset, a little bit of what we talked about earlier, understanding their pain points. But also, in order to get into their mindset, we have to know who they are. And the best way to know who they are is to define it. So I want you to think about your favorite movie. Think about your favorite drama on TV. Think about your favorite sitcoms. I don't know. Do we still have sitcoms? Sitcoms may be obsolete now, but think about your favorite drama. I like Law and Order SVU, right? Because they have clearly defined characters, great storylines, et cetera. And I can actually relate to some of the characters, right? And something about those characters I can relate to. Same thing with your marketing. You're putting out marketing messages out there that are intended for everybody. But in the online space, when you're trying to promote to everybody, when you're trying to market to everybody, you end up reaching nobody because it's so loud and crowded. Everybody's on social media shouting. So it's easy to stand up on social media, but it's harder to stand out. And a great way to stand out is define who am I speaking to. Once you define who I'm speaking to, give them a name like, hey, I'm looking to reach Brad. Brad is a 35-year-old male. He makes $75,000 a year. He has 3 kids, ages 12, 14, and 9. He has a wife who works with him on their small business, and they provide X, Y, and Z services, and define that character. Your ideal customer is a character that you define. So define them, and then tailor your marketing messages to that individual. That's how you get traction with that. And that's how you cut through a lot of the clutter that's available on social media and especially online. We just did a session right before this for another group, part of the summit. And one of the questions was, how do I transfer my business from offline to online in these times? How do I make my website do more? And how do I do all these things? And that was our response to her. We need to know exactly who you're trying to reach. Now, some of you might be asking, well, I define my ideal character. My ideal character is Brad. And I also have an ideal character. I also want to try and reach Mary. I also want to try and reach John. I also want to try and reach Twyla, right? So I also want to try and reach all of these other individuals who are who need our products and services, and that's great. You just have to define them differently. They're different characters in the story, just like your favorite movie or just like your favorite drama on TV. Those are different characters that are defined, and it takes all those characters to make a movie, and you market and you promote to each of those characters differently. We recommend, if you're just starting to start with one, and that clarity is going to help you cut through the clutter. And then after you start with that one, add on another. After you have those 2 solid ones, add on another, right? Build it like a tree. Don't try to do them all at once, because that's how you're going to overwhelm yourself. So start to define that ideal character or that ideal client. It's going to be super important. Another thing also with this ideal character or this ideal client that you're thinking of, I want you to think of it like the Target emblem or the Target logo. The Target logo is 3 circles intertwined, or 3 circles, 3 circles intertwined with each other. So the Target logo, your ideal client is like that Target logo. And of course, your ideal client may not be that just like that person or just like that person you described, but that's okay. Think of your favorite movie or your favorite drama on TV or sitcom or whatever, if sitcoms are still around. Think of that person as well. They are not exactly like you, right? But you can still see part of yourselves in them if they're your favorite character. You can still see part of their life circumstances in them if they're part of your experiences, right? Or if they have similar experiences, right? So don't think that I have to nail this person right on. What really helps is just that clarity so that people know, hey, he's talking directly to me. Marcus is talking directly to me. Millie is talking directly to me, right? That's what helps cut through that clutter. If they can see themselves in your marketing message, they are much more likely to stop scrolling on their social feed and pay attention to what it is that you have to say, especially if you go back to point one, if you're being of service, if you're just asking, hey, how can I help you? What are you experiencing? What's going on? What's going wrong right now? And so those are two major points that I want you to focus on. First one, I forget the first one. First one, I told you I was going to forget something during this session, right? The first one, make sure I forget what the first one was. Somebody remind me what the first one was. Team, remind me, I'm drawing a blank what the first one I just said was. Yeah, I know I just said it, but bear with me. So the second one, at least, was define your ideal customer. Oh, I remember what the first one is. Thank you for everyone who's helping me out. The second one, I did define your ideal customer. And the first one, make sure that you ask them what's going on? What's up with you right now? What are your challenges? What are you experiencing? And just ask it as an open-ended question. So that way you can figure out how your product and service aligns with them, as opposed to you putting out your product and service and we're expecting people to automatically align with whatever it is that we're putting out there. All right. So two important distinctions. The third thing I want to leave you with today, and this is part 1 of 3. So remember, we're continuing this part, how do you market in uncertain times, day 2 and day 3. So we got a lot more in store, but we want to break it down to you in bite-sized chunks so that we can go a little deeper with them. The third major way to market in uncertain times is make sure you are utilizing your free platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube. Make sure you make use of these by being service. So by being of service. Now, important, very important. Do not, especially if you are a solopreneur, it's just you and your business, you're a mighty team of one, or you have a small team, do not try to be on each of those platforms that I just named. Choose, and this is going to hurt, but I hope you're ready. Some of you say I'm not ready. Get ready fast. This is going to hurt. Choose one social platform for you to optimize, whether that be Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, whatever it is. Choose one, especially if you're a small business, if you are a small business, a small team, meaning it's only 2, 3 of you, 5 of you. Especially if you're a solopreneur, it's just one of you and you're wearing all sorts of different hats. Why do we say choose one? The reason a lot of social media isn't effective is because social media and managing effective social media in itself is a full-time job per profile. So if you have 2 Facebook profiles, you have essentially 2 full-time jobs. If you have a Facebook personal page or personal profile and a Facebook business page, guess what? You have 2 full-time jobs. If you have a Facebook personal page, a Facebook professional page, an Instagram personal page, and an Instagram professional page, you have 4 full-time jobs, right? It's impossible for you to give it its due diligence in each place. And by you trying to be in so many places, you're diluting your effectiveness in any one place, right? So it's like it's still that old school way of marketing. Hey, I want to be in front of more eyes. So I need to be on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Yes, you do need to be on all of those, but you don't have to be on all of those right now. Build each sequentially, build each whichever one is your first priority. How do I figure out what's my first priority, Marcus? I'm so glad you asked. your first priority goes back to your ideal clients. Once you've defined your ideal client, get in their head. Where do they hang out when they're thinking about your problem or the problem that they have that your product or service solves? Are they probably on Facebook strolling through and talking with their friends in a group or on a page? Are they on YouTube looking for answers? You want to be where they are. You want to go where they are. Think of social media as a big party, and think of your website as your party. A lot of people like to say, let's get them from this big party and bring them over to our party. That works if you have a very, very holistic strategy to do so. But most people, unfortunately, don't have that strategy. We're going to talk about strategy in the upcoming sessions of this session here today, or not today, or the day 2 and day 3 of this session, marketing in uncertain times, so having a strategy. But most people don't have that strategy, right? So how do you stay in there? How do you stay top of mind? You build relationships on the platforms that they are already on when they are thinking about your the problems that they have that you can solve. Are they in Facebook? Are they in Facebook groups? Are they on Facebook pages? You be where they are. You go where they are. We have a slogan at my company that says, meet them where they are. You know, don't make them chase you. Don't make them go around looking for you. You meet them where they are. You go where the party is and engage with them, not in a promotional manner, not here's my thing, here's what I do. Engage with them just like they're your friend, like they're your buddy. They should be. You should be doing business with people you like, right? And if you're not, that's a whole nother story that we'll definitely be addressing as well. All right. But we are passionate about our businesses and we want to build relationships with people. And unfortunately, transactional type marketing where we're looking to people to promote to so they can buy our thing, that only works for us, right? We want to make sure this is a relationship. So this relational type marketing, making sure it's beneficial for everybody. How can I serve you? And they essentially do business with you because you are serving them. You're happy to serve them and you're building this relationship all the while. So while you're wherever they are in groups, in comments, on people's pages and groups and such, you're not promoting yourself because one, that would just be wrong. Why would you like someone promoting yourself on in your threads? Probably not, but you're just offering help. You know, if somebody has a question that you can answer, you're just answering the question. Answer their question for free. Why? That builds trust and authority with them. So now they're coming to you or they see you as the authority. You do that a couple of times, people start to get this familiarity with you and they're saying, hey, Lindsay, really, she answered my question. I'm just going to direct message her and ask her a couple more questions. And now we're talking. Now we've built a relationship. And now we're actually starting to do business together. So I want you to think of your marketing like a relationship. If I see a nice young lady at the mall and I introduce her and say, hey, how you doing? My name is Marcus. Marry me. She's probably going to run, right? But that's what we do online all the time. Here's my product. Buy, 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 buy. Build a relationship. You know, hey, what are you working on? Oh, wow. What are you having issues with? Oh, wow. That's interesting. Tell me more about your challenge. And people will tell you. And then what you do is you just collect that information and ask several people, right? Ask several people who fit your ideal client or who fit closely to what your ideal client is, right? If you don't do that, you're just still trying to do this thing of marketing to everybody, promoting to everybody, and you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're not even really getting traction and not really getting started the way you should, right? So those three things, super important. We start with getting, what are their pain points? Ask them, what's your challenge, right? Second thing, define who they are. Define who they are in excruciating detail. And third, go where they are. Join the party where they are, somewhere on social media, right? So on social media, Facebook, there's a lot of movements going on right now. Join discussions if that's pertinent to something that you solve. Even if it's not pertinent to something that you solve. Remember, people are on social media to be social, right? They're not there to buy your thing. So what is the conversation happening? Just join the conversation without any intent of selling your product or service or thing. Have you ever been to a party and at the party, you can tell that person is there just to sell, or that networking event, you can tell that person is there just to sell. And doesn't it repel you, right? Sales repel. I like that. I might use that. But that same energy exists online. If you're in the group, if you're putting stuff out there and your whole intention is just to sell, people smell that and people run away from that. Why? Because we've all had incidents where somebody promised the world and didn't deliver, or there was some slimy salesman online or whatever. And now we've just kind of blanketed just about everybody on social media as we have this wall up against everybody on social media. Like, hey, are you like that slimy salesman that I've already run into? Or are you going to try and take advantage of my money and take advantage of me again and stuff like this? There's so much of that. And we want to make sure that we're not, that we're setting ourselves apart from that as much as humanly possible, because we strongly believe that that's really not your intent. And if that is your intent, we're not please stop coming to Small Better Business Summit. But we believe that we believe that all of you have good intention. And that's our mission at Social Marquee, is we're good people, helping good people positively impact massively more and more good people. As long as we stick with our mission, and we know that's our mission, business comes, people who align with that mission, who have or looking to do good in the world, who are really looking to just give their input to the world, and give their input to the world and give their contribution to the world. They are just aligned with our vision, and it's a beautiful business relationship, right? And that's what we want for every one of you as well. So when you focus on that relational marketing, that's what that builds. And yes, it builds it over time, right? So, and you want that. It builds over time, and you want customers over time. You want that sustainability, those customers to stay with you over time as well. It costs 7 to 9 times less to get a customer who you already have to keep with you than it does to acquire a new customer. So a lot of companies come to us to acquire new customers, and we help them do that. Lead generation is something that, or targeted lead generation, people who actually convert and buy from you, is our top specialty. And with every one of those campaigns, we talk with those clients about, all right, we're building your lead generation strategy. Let's focus now also on your lead retention strategy. So once we get them, how do we keep them, and how do we keep them longer, stronger for a longer amount of time, right? So don't forget that second part. Wow, I know I said a lot, and there's a lot more, and I see all your questions. Please keep them coming in. Again, remember, this is a 3-part series. So we have the question, we have the session here today, day 1, we have day 2, and we have day 3 as well. Excuse me. Please enter your questions in the chat. We won't get them to them in this session because the next session is about to start shortly. And we want to make sure that if you need to get a drink of water, if you need to get a bite to eat or something like that, you have the ability to do so. All of the information is going to be in your box in your email box of how to access that session. In fact, it's probably already in your box. Visit that email to access the next session. Bring all your questions, because we have some live Q&As with myself, Sean Smith, and for those of you who joined us a little late, we also are having a live forum that was inspired by the unfortunate death of George Floyd, on how small businesses can be impactful during this time, how small businesses can help during this time, however that looks. We're having conversations about injustice, diversity and inclusion, and it's an open forum. It's live as well. Some of the sessions on the summit are recorded. Some of them are live. That's one of the live ones that's happening on day 2. So we hope you'll join us for that as well. Continue to enter your questions. We see a lot of you having questions. Great. We will be making sure to capture each and every one of those and answer as many as possible in the live sessions. Usually we have, even on the live sessions, we take questions live as well. So you want to make sure you're there for those. So if we don't get to your questions, what we'll probably end up doing is doing a summit follow-up bonus for all the questions that we weren't able to get to. We've done it with the last summits, and it's been pretty popular. And we're having another summit. We're actually already planning our next summit. This summit was such a success. We have a lot of speakers that have already signed on for the next summit. So you'll be getting, if you're here in this room already, you'll be getting the information for that in your box coming in a couple of months. So be on the lookout for that. So with that, continue to answer your questions or continue to ask your questions in the chat. Go ahead and type those. We're getting ready to stop this session, so you have a quick break before the next session comes up. Next session is going to be with Sean Smith. He is one of our favorites here at Small Biz Better Summit. He's my coach, my life coach. I've learned so much from him over the last 6 years that I've been working with him. He's also going to be one of the live panelists in the conscious community conversation that I was mentioning earlier, as well as the live Q&A on day 3, as well as he's having his own live Q&A, because every time he opens his mouth, he gets a wave of questions about mindset, and a lot of that applies to marketing and sales as well. So we hope that you'll join us for those live sessions. Continue to ask your questions. Continue to let us know sessions that you want to see in future summits, because that is extremely important as well. These sessions were born out of all the commentary and feedback that you guys said that, hey, we want to see this and we want this. We want more on these topics, and we have those coming to you in this summit and in future summits. So thank you again for joining us for this first session. Thank you for helping us kick off this great summit. So excited to see so many of you. This is amazing. The response to this summit has been just humbling. We're so just glad to see that you've joined us, and continue to spread the word. It's a free summit. A lot of people have been tweeting us on social media, tweeting us on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. Please keep that up. Just keep spreading the word so that we can continue to bring in as many people as possible so that we can serve during this very uncertain time. And so with that, I'll see you on the next session. And I will also see you on day 2 for part 2 of Marketing in Certain Times. Make sure you check your inbox for how to access the next session. Questions, as soon as we stop recording here, I'm going to leave it open for some questions and commentary for those to come in and for the team to continue to extract those so that we can answer during the live Q&A. So thank you all so much for attending this first session. We'll see you in the next session, and we'll see you in part 2 of Marketing in Certain Times. Small Business Better. Thanks so much.